In style in general, it doesn't come more simple than your regular t-shirt. This is an easy, stylish classic when it's done right, but when it's not, it can leave you looking pretty average. There are tons of different t-shirts to choose from, some of which look great and others of which look terrible. And I thought for this video, I'll save you the hard work of looking. I've teamed up with Amazon for this video and they've sent me a load of different t-shirts. I'll be trying and testing all of the different brands out to see which ones are actually worth your money, which ones fit the best, which ones are the better quality, and of course, which are the most stylish overall. I'm your test dummy for this video. Either way, you're gonna find the best t-shirt out of all of these, as well as all the rest of the ones I've tried, listed and linked in the description. Before I judge these shirts and test them out for you, we need to define, what makes a good t-shirt. What am I gonna be looking for that puts one of these shirts above the rest? Okay, there are a couple of key factors really for me. The first one being the neck has got to fit relatively well. I don't want it super tight where it's choking me out, although it's quite rare to find one that's like that. But also I don't want one that's plunging really deep, that's showing off my man boobs. Secondly, the sleeves need to fit really well. This is one of, if not the most important thing when it comes to choosing a good looking t-shirt. Take this t-shirt here for instance. Whatever you think of the design, the fit through the torso is pretty good. It's not super tight, but it's not really loose. But on the sleeves, you've got the dreaded triangle. The bit right at the edge of the sleeve where it spears out to the side because the arm opening is too big. And you're going to find this same problem in about 80 or 90% of t-shirts. These have just been made like this just so that as many guys as physically possible can fit inside the t-shirt. It doesn't look tailored to your body and it makes it look like you're wearing a size that might be too big. And obviously it's got to fit well through the torso. I'm not really looking for a super tight muscle fit one because I don't have the body for it. I want one that's maybe a little bit snug through the chest and then a little bit baggier through the rest of the torso below. Because of those last two factors, all the t-shirts that you're going to be seeing in this video feature some sort of stretch. So they've got some form of elastane or something similar within the construction. And you'll also see that each of the t-shirts in this video are crew neck because for me, with my body, it just tends to look better than the V-neck. But I'm sure there's a V-neck version of each of these available anyway, so it doesn't matter. Also, you'll notice for each of these t-shirts, I've tried to choose different colors for each so that you don't get them mixed up with each other, but they are available in other colors other than the ones I'm wearing in this video. And first, we're gonna focus on the one that I'm wearing right now. Let's take a look at the Calvin Klein t-shirt. Okay, here's the Calvin Klein crew neck t-shirt with 95% cotton and 5% elastane. These are sold in packs of 2 and come in at a price point of about £31. So you're looking on average just under 16 quid per t-shirt. It is kind of frustrating that this is only available in a 2-pack. But overall anyway, how does it look? In terms of overall fit, I'd say that this is okay. The fit across the chest and through the torso is very, very good, especially compared to some other options that you'll see later in this video. You have the stretch there, so it's contoured to my torso, but it's not super spray-on tight. Looking at the sleeves, I'd say the sleeves are okay. In terms of length down the arm, I think these aren't bad at all. I actually prefer these that sit almost bang in the middle of the upper arm. Unfortunately, the actual armhole opening at the end, that seems to be relatively big compared to some of the others in this video. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of stretch in this area, which is frustrating. The neck area, however, because it's made of a slightly more solid type of material here, tends to retain its shape a bit better from what I've found. It's about the right size, definitely not too deep, pretty good so far. But unfortunately, as you may have noticed from looking at me in this video, you can see the wire of my microphone underneath the t-shirt. And that's because the material's too thin. In certain angles, especially in sunlight, you can just see straight through to my nipples. With a brand of this name and this sort of price, I would expect more. This just kind of reminds me of the appearance of like a lower quality undershirt. Overall, the Calvin Klein one is okay, but it's definitely not the best one on this list. Next, we move on to this navy t-shirt from Jack & Jones. Now you'll notice an immediate difference with this one compared to the last one. You can tell straight away that this is a lot tighter than the Calvin Klein one. This just advertises as their basic tee, yet to me this looks like a muscle fit one. And I'm normally a size medium, that last one was a size medium. This one looks like I'm wearing a small. The shoulders on this are so narrow that they're sitting way higher up than they should be. And through the body it's almost spray on tight, which is evident by the horizontal pull lines you can see going across all the way down. And bearing in mind I'm somewhere between about 5'9" to 5'10" and weigh nearly bang on average for my height, there's no way that I should have to be considering going up to a size large. Never in my life have I been close to a size large in anything. But for this brand in particular, if you wanted to get one of these, I'd recommend going a size above what you normally have. Also, when it comes to the neck here, you can see it's even quite big around the neck, almost as if it's like an inch too big around there. This one does come in at a lot cheaper price, about £8, so almost half the price of the Calvin Klein, but I'm not sure if the actual fit is worth it. The material itself feels nice and stretchy and high quality. It's definitely better quality material than the Calvin Klein one. This one, however, is 8% elastane. I don't know if that's what's made all the difference here, but it's certainly not my favourite shirt. Now it's time to get stripy with this one from Scotch and Soda. Coming in at a price of around £31, this is definitely one of the more expensive ones in this video. So does it deliver when it comes to the fit and the quality? Really, I'd say that this is essentially a better version of the Calvin Klein one. Again, this one has the 95% cotton to the 5% elastane, but the shirt itself isn't quite as see-through, and then the rest of the fit is almost identical. Around the neck again, it's okay. I'd maybe like if it was a tiny bit smaller for me, but compared to a lot of them, I'd say it's pretty good. The shoulders are sitting right, much better than the Jack & Jones one, and the sleeves as a whole are okay. They fit a lot tighter than your regular shirt like the one that I showed you at the start of the video, but I can already see after a couple of wears that it is starting to just stick out a tiny bit. Or maybe it's just telling me I need to get to the gym. Through the torso, this one fits pretty much spot on. With this one in general, I honestly don't have too many complaints. However, it does sit at that higher price point. Will it be worth it by the end of the video? We'll see. For the next two coming up, we've got two options from another well-known brand, Tommy Hilfiger. Now, I decided to buy two here because they had two separate listings for something that looked very similar, so I wanted to see if they actually were the same thing. So I've got this one in blue and then another one in white. And it turns out the two are slightly different. The blue one here is made up of 96% cotton and 4% elastane. I'd say that the fit of this one is still very good. Around the neck area in particular, I really like the way that this one sits. It's a tiny bit higher, good if you've got quite a thin neck and collarbone area. Also, this one, along with the white one, are possibly the most comfortable ones I think on this list. In terms of the way that the material feels, also doesn't seem to crease very easily, which is good. The shoulder area and torso are, I'd say, pretty much bang on. Only small gripe I had with this blue one is that the sleeves, for me, I think the sleeves are a little bit too short. It's not far off, it's not bad, it still retains the stretch better than some of the other options, but I'd like it if it was just a centimetre or so further down the arm. With the white one, there was a couple of small differences. The neck area, I'd say exactly the same, fits really well, and through the body, it's nice and well fitted without being super tight. But you'll notice that the balance of materials is slightly different. According to the label, this is the 95:5 ratio instead. Both of these options come in at a higher price of around £35. And I don't know whether it's down to just the colour, but this one, you can see through it a little bit. It's certainly not as bad as the Calvin Klein one where you can just straight up see through, but I don't know if it's due to having a slightly different material. But what I do like with the white one is that the sleeves make up for it, because the sleeves on this one, for whatever reason, are slightly longer than the previous blue one. It definitely sits further down on the arm, not super tight. I maybe like it if it was a tiny bit tighter, but overall I'd say that this is a very good fit as a whole. Next, we move to the other end of the spectrum with this green t-shirt from Urban Classic. From the £30 odd area down to just £11 at the moment. And overall, I'm really impressed with this one. I'll get the thing that I don't like out of the way first. I think that the neck area is definitely a bit on the big side. I'd like it if it was an inch or so smaller around the neck. But other than that, I think for £11, this is a really good option. Shoulders are spot on. And then down through the torso, this one I think fits me really well. I'd say equally as well as the Scotch and Soda or the Hilfiger ones, both of which are like 3 times the price. And this is one of, if not the best set of sleeves, I think, out of any of the ones I'm trying today. It's not too short, it comes down to a really nice mid-bicep level, and around the area it still retains a lot of tightness, which is great. The length's fine, as is with all of them here. Nice high armholes. I think that this overall for 11 quid is really good value for money, and you still get the same sort of materials that you're getting with some of these other more expensive ones, the 95% cotton to 5% elastane. This one seems like a really good choice if you're on a budget. And the final two on here are two different black t-shirts. The first one being this one from Only & Sons. And this one is a bit like the Jack & Jones one, in the sense that it looks like someone has just sprayed it on with a paint can. This one advertises as a slim fit, but unless you're skeletal, I'd say that this is like your typical spray-on muscle fit. Once more, this is another one that, unless you want the really tight body conforming fit overall, I'd probably say go up a size. But if you are a fan of that really tight muscle fit, then this is definitely better than the Jack & Jones one. It's only a few pence more, I think it's like 30 pence more at the time of filming this. It's the same 95% cotton to 5% elastane, but in terms of the way it fits in certain areas, I think it's a bit better. The neck in particular, it's a lot more conformed to the neck area, it's not super big. The sleeves are arguably perfect in terms of the way that they fit. And then through the torso, it's just really tight like the Jack & Jones one. But the material feels like maybe a slightly better quality material, so if this is the type you want, I'd say go for this one. Or maybe if you're a guy that's really thin, then this might be the brand to choose. They just need to change it to advertise as a muscle fit, and then they'll be sorted. And we finished this little rundown by looking at this black t-shirt from Garage. Again, this is another brand I'm not really familiar with, but this comes in a pretty competitive £12.50-ish. And what do you know, 95% cotton, 5% elastane. This one again, it's more on the tighter side, I'd say, but it isn't as tight as the one that we've just looked at and the one earlier from Jack & Jones. Once more, I think this is a slightly better option than the Jack & Jones one. It's a bit better around the neck area. Also, it seems pretty good around the sleeves too. For me, it is a little bit tight through the chest and through the torso, but the shoulders are decent and the material feels pretty good quality. So which is my favorite overall? Which one would I pick out of all these different options? This one's actually been quite a tricky decision for me to make, because several of them on this list actually fitted me really nicely, and I think that's the benefit of going for one of these ones that's got the elastane in. You're not left with tons of baggy material or the spearing triangle on the side. If I could only choose one, it would be just about the white Tommy Hilfiger one, or at least that range. For me, this is probably the most comfortable one to wear. It looks quite stylish as a whole in terms of the shape of it, not including the logo. It fits well all over, so the sleeves, pretty good, the neck's decent, and then through the torso is good as well. The Scotch and Soda one actually surprised me with how good that one was as well. I just think that the cut of this one looks slightly better on me, not by much. In terms of budget options though, I think that the Urban Classics one is an absolute bargain at that sort of price for the type of material that you're getting. I think it's really good quality and good value. Also for me, the Garage one wasn't far off, and that's at a lower price. But if you want the, super spray-on muscle fit, then the Only & Sons is the best option, I think, out of the ones I've tried today. I'll have this, these, and all the others listed and linked in the description below too. Every purchase that you make through the links in the description helps to support my channel so I can keep doing videos just like this one. Which of these was your favourite? Which do you think fitted me the best, or which would you buy? Let me know in the comment section down below. I want to thank Amazon for sponsoring this video and then sending me all these for free. It's awesome. And it means I can try them all out, because otherwise I just wouldn't have the budget to do a video like this. I buy almost everything through Amazon, super reliable, you know it's going to turn up. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more on how to style your hair and what to wear, then make sure you press the round subscribe icon to this side, and then I've got 2 more fun videos for you to watch down there so that you can make the most of you. And I'll see you on the next one.